thank you very much for allowing me to present on the prestigious dais of FIGO conference. Identification of survivors of violence experience from Indian hospital. I am Dr. Srinivas Gadappa, Professor and Head, Department of OBGY, Government Medical Hospital, Aurangabad, India. We cater around 70 deliveries per day. It comes around 19 to 20,000 per year. As far as the disclosure is concerned, there is no disclosure for commercial interest. Violence against women is a more than a health issue. It is also a violation of women's human right, their bodily integrity, their sexual and reproductive rights. Violence has immediate and long-term health and social consequences. WHO mandates all healthcare providers, that is nurses and doctors, to offer supportive care for intimate partner violence and sexual violence survivors. Effects are intergenerational. Many times it is direct and indirect reason for mortality. Now there are specific signs and symptoms women facing violence, and they reach to medical facility with various health consequences. The common injury pattern associated with domestic violence are, for example, there is repeated abortions, there is a physical injury, there is a poisoning, and there is a burn. So these are the common things they come out with the violence. And this is a very good chart designed and which is provided to healthcare provided, how to identify the violence in a woman when they are coming to us. So they come to us with gynecological complaint, medicine department, casualty, pediatrics, surgery, skin, ENTs, orthopedics, and ophthalmology. So for each department, different flag signs and the symptoms are noted. And if we find these are symptoms, they are coming to us. So we are also doing a gentle inquiry in the domestic violence. Now, as far as the obstetric department is considered, majority of clear cases coming are suffer from sexual assault. We call it as the overt cases, either brought by police or self-referral. But the patients with recurrent abortions, multigravida with repeated pregnancies, unwanted pregnancies, severe anemia, repeated chronic pain in abdomen, repeated genital tract infection are the patients who need real support. And these are the covert cases because they are not coming with the history or they are not giving the history of violence. So we have to sensitively inquire into them. So for that, providers suspect violence when she comes with unwanted pregnancy and a single woman is coming, delayed antenatal care, repeated pregnancy, pain in abdomen, delay in seeking care for health problems, preterm birth, preeclampsia during pregnancy, no family members visiting the hospital, poisoning, persistent headache, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, and dizziness. And some women, they report directly the violence as a case of rape or a PV bleeding or history of a physical violence with pain in abdomen. And sometimes there is an accidental fall. So these are the certain examples which I would like to quote. That is, one woman came to NCOPD where she is a primary carer with 8 months pregnancy, and she got registered for antenatal care in the 8th month only and had not done any previous investigation. And this was a red flag for us because her first pregnancy, which is often celebrated in Indian society, and lot of care and love is provided for first time pregnant woman. But she is coming for the antenatal care at the 8th month. Even when she reached to term and she's delivered and we are taking the PNC round, at that time I have seen that she's alone. Sometimes her mother in between coming and visiting. The husband-in-laws are not coming. The reason when she disclosed to us, she disclosed it very late after delivery. She said that the in-laws were asking for dowry and she has not given dowry. So the husband is stopped talking to her from 2 months of ANC and neglected her. So this is another form of violence she's facing during pregnancy. The another case I would like to quote is that repeated pregnancies. A patient came, often hide their history with a fear of scolding by a doctor, but their poor general condition, anemic status, and small children coming with the ANC OPD, that shows that she's facing a violence. So this woman came with a 6th gravida. She was having 5 female children at home. In the hope of a male child, they are having this pregnancy. The husband is not allowing her to use contraception, and the in-laws are behind having a male child. So this is the reason she was not telling her the correct history, and she's coming with repeated pregnancies because she's not having the right to choose contraception. She's not having the right to have abortion in the search of a male. So this is another type of violence we commonly found in our Indian setup. Then there is another thing which is the violence we are having. There is a lack of support from husband and family during and after pregnancy. So there was one primary gravida, she came with Rh negative blood group, and for woman who is having Rh negative blood group, it is very mandatory to see husband's blood group because we want to give her some injection. But in spite of 3 to 4 visits, she could not bring husband blood group. And then she was telling that he is out of station and all these things. But gradually then we insisted her that this is very important for you and your baby's life. And then she opened up that the husband is not talking to her since last 3-4 months. So this is type of violence they are talking, they are not cooperating to them. So these are the silent women who are not telling about the violence and they are facing violence. So what are the minimum requirements for asking about violence? Because these things we previously used to take very casually, but after the training we thought that these are the flag signs and we have to be tackled very nicely so that we'll have a good outcome. So then what we have done, the training of providers and how to ask and respond, privacy and confidentiality. So these three things were done. So how did we identify a woman facing domestic violence? Because often they are not coming with the signs and symptoms, or they are not opening with that they are suffering violence. So whenever we see that there is history of assault, repeated pregnancies, repeated birth of a girl child, coming for MTP, reversal of tubal ligation, then chronic leukorrhea, postpartum psychosis, pelvic inflammatory disease, multiparity. So here we are suspecting that they may be having violence. So how to ask for violence? Because we cannot ask women that whether you are facing violence, then that is not a good. So best thing is that you should have some direct questioning, some indirect questioning. So the indirect questions you can do is that your injuries do not look like they are accidental. I am concerned that your symptoms may have caused by someone hurting you. Did someone cause these injuries? So this is another way of sensitively inquiring this. Then your complaints seem to be related to stress. Do you face any tensions with your partner at home? So these are certain questions we can ask. And we can ask, are you afraid of your husband? Has your husband or a partner or someone else at home ever threatened you, hurt you, or physically harm you in some way? If so, what has happened? So such type of indirect questioning can also be asked to them to elicit the violence they are facing. Then you can also ask, has your husband or a partner force you into the sex or force you have to have a sexual contact you did not want? So such things you can always take for signs for violence. What to do if healthcare provider suspects violence? This is very important. So once the suspicion is there, the healthcare provider should not pressurize woman to disclose that she is living in abusive relationship. Tell her about services that are available if she chooses to use them, because this is very important, because you should not pressurize her, but tell her the services if she wants to use them. Offer information on the effect of violence on women's health and their children, so they may open up afterwards, and offer her follow-up visits. So first thing, always remember, never pressurize them. Be a guide to them, be a very good service provider to them. Then our initiative in Government Medical College to understand the violence and domestic violence, what we did that under the leadership of WHO, Sehat, there is a training conducted for us, because we all were not sensitized for domestic violence. And this training was then imparted to all the healthcare providers by the mentors, to the staff nurses, social security superintendents and all. And these trainings are given in the form of small group discussions, then case presentations, clinical cases, and presentations. So the common forms of violence which we found in our hospital is domestic violence, intimate marital violence, and a sexual violence. Now, what are the changes we brought in our hospital? That the cubicles were made in antenatal clinics to ensure complete privacy and confidentiality to everyone. One named Mukta project was started. Mukta means freedom. This project was started which aim at diagnosing the woman with domestic violence and providing them help. Every woman coming to us are concealed, given privacy required regarding domestic violence and assured confidentiality. A record of such women are kept under Mukta projects. So even if they are not interested in filing a case, their domestic incident reporting is kept in a file. So this can be used in further if they are facing more violence and they want to take some of the legal advice. So this is what the very important thing what we did. Then whenever the woman with sexual violence they are coming, we used to have a separate Sukun Kaksh for them. We report in a prescribed format. Team of expert is available to one-stop examination, and immediately they are examined, not allowed for waiting for doing other treatment. Some emergency response in COVID and pandemic. This is very important, because in the COVID, lot of problems were there. So in COVID pandemic also, we have given them good services by giving them proper contact. Repeated session to train healthcare professionals were done, so that there is a sustainability in giving the good services. So this is a survivor room, which we call it is a Sukun Kaksh, Sukun Kaksh means a pleasant ward, which is a Marathi name. And this was displayed with all the important material inside so that the healthcare provided can do all according to the SOP. So this is a Sukun Kaksh where all the material is displayed, privacy is there, auditory and visual privacy is given there. Then in this, all the formalities, all the formats are kept so that there should not be any problem when they are examined. The important thing which came to our rescue is the standard operating procedure. So all the department and the healthcare facilities and the healthcare providers are aware of the standard operating procedure. So whenever a woman is coming, whether in the day or in the night, she is given the same type of treatment within a stipulated time. So we have got a lot of learnings, and we have presented a paper along with WHO, Sehat, and HRP at Government Medical College Hospital, Aurangabad. And the implementation of the training and healthcare facility has given us these things, and that is published in BMC. Then a study is also conducted in domestic violence in pregnant women, and it is published, and we have seen that 32.7% of the women are suffering from domestic violence. So we are committed to preventing violence against women. What about you? So we must speak out, we must reach out, and we must stand out, because the woman who is coming to us with a violence, she is never going to speak that she is suffering from violence. As a healthcare provider, this is our first target when they are coming to us, to seek the medical help, because they will never go to the police or the legal authorities to say that they are suffering violence. So they will come to us for taking treatment for any physical injury. So previously we used to treat them the injuries, but now we should see this is a flag sign, and we inquire them, we give them treatment, we give them supportive services, we give counseling, and the referral channel is started. So I think this is very important when we are in the Indian standard, because the violence rate is increasing. The women are not aware of the violence, and they don't know the facilities available, so they seek the help. So this is our prime responsibility, to sensitively inquire about the cases which are coming to us, provide them support, don't pressurize them, give them a family environment. And that will only give us that the woman can have free of violence. So at the last slide, I would like to thank the WHO, Sehat, and all other NGOs who has helped us in training the healthcare provided to sensitively inquire about the violence and treat them. Thank you very much for your prestigious allowing me to present this in front of a FICO. Thanks a lot.